Welcome to Game Chat, where Alan and I talk about the latest game news and other cool things about gaming. This week in our news section, the winds are rolling down the plains. Oklahoma has been released for ATS. Yes, another state. Tell me it's not true that PS1 games are going to be on Xbox. Oh no! It's the end of the world. And in topic of the week, we're just going to sit here and talk about game accessories. We got a whole bunch of them over here, from flight yokes, the wheels, to Nintendo Zapper, a joystick, a Super Nintendo controller, on down to a Guitar Hero guitar. And we found anything and everything that we could find. All that, so buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride because Game Chat starts now.
(802) Gaming Club.
2, 1. Hi, welcome to Game Chat. I'm your host, Darren Quick. As always, it's been 5 weeks now we've been doing this show. And now it's joining me off to my left is Alan Cunningham, one of the my co-host and EA or Esports coach here at Northwest. And we have Hunter over in the booth for the first time. We got somebody actually suckered somebody in to do the booth work for us today.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thanks, Hunter, because Alan over here is getting tired of flipping the cameras via the little laptop. So we suckered into Hunter, which it didn't take much, sucker him into doing it. So, as always, you can hear us playing in the background to the Esports again. Here they are. The kids are playing the Wii, doing different games and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's been fun. Looks like Rocket League.
Yep, got a couple kids on Rocket League and some of the games.
Yeah, some of the games my brother's just probably hanging out and just stuff like that. A whole bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, and like I said, if you ever want to come down here and do this, it's every Wednesday from 3 to 5 but you guys got about a month left. After this month, after August, the kids go back to school. Yep. Oh my God. Kids go back to school, then we probably do it once a month.
It's probably what it's going to go to, is once a month, usually on the weekends for 2 to 3 hours. So
yeah, once.
But at the same time, starting this coming school year, esports is now an official varsity sport in Vermont high schools. So you can actually be a varsity athlete in Rocket League or Fortnite or League of Legends this upcoming school year. What that looks like for the public schools, I have no idea. But we are starting to have conversations with the different athletic directors for the different schools in Franklin County. And our hope here at Northwest Access TV is that we can be the hub for esports in Franklin County for the high school and beyond. So, if you want to do some esports, get in touch with us here at Northwest Access TV, 802-782-8676, or you can email us at tech@northwestaccess.tv for more information.
Which is cool to me. I love it. I mean, I wish I had that in high school. When I was in high school
too, right?
Screw your education.
Well, it's part of it's built into the education now. And you can even get I think Champlain College has a $1,000 scholarship.
Just to sit around and play Rocket League all day long.
Just to play Rocket League, yep, absolutely.
And Fortnite.
It's nice to see those kids getting that opportunity.
But the problem is you got to have your basic core classes. It's not just going off playing Rocket League because they would not allow this if you didn't get an education out of it.
You've still got to be, it's just the same as if you were playing college football or college basketball.
It's basically you're going to get your PE credits. So don't sit there and think that, somebody like me go, oh boy, I'm going to be playing esports the whole time. That's my education is esports. No, you got to you're still going to get your core credit or at least get a, what I call the wannabe degree in college.
Yep.
Which is an everything degree. But so yeah, it's great. It's good to hear that they're moving up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great organization. I mean, I enjoy it. You know, would love to play it when, like I said, I was in high school.
Yep.
So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
That's good news that they're finally expanding it beyond this local level.
Yep.
So like you said, let's hope that we get be a hub here and.
I'd love to host tournaments, you know what I mean? If they had the state championship finals for their esports and they hosted it here, you know, we could broadcast it live.
You and I could sit here and broadcast it.
We can do the commentary. There's all sorts, and that's the thing with the esports is that it kind of runs the gamut of playing the game and being part of the production team that puts on the commentary, does the graphics, does the video, and things like that.
And who knows, we might be able to actually make a name of ourselves other than up here in St. Albans.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think it'd be
famous up here in St.
incredible
Albans.
to get the first esports banner hung up in the rafters there.
Oh yeah. All right, let's move on to what the heck we've been playing. Actually, no, let's do trivia question of the week. I had the one from last week, which we didn't get one new one this week, so we're going to redo the one I asked last week, which was in the Super Mario Bros. Series.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Super Mario the only title to use the Mario Brothers for retail? In other words, is Super Mario Brothers the only time you ever hear the word Mario Brothers in retail or as for retail? I'll give you the answer later on in the show, but yeah, then we'll come up with another one. So pretty much get back to what we've been playing this week. Since I've been back on vacation, I've been doing a lot of ATS because of the fact that it's just, like I said, I just found out a couple days ago that we're releasing a new state. So guess who's been back playing ATS? About hooked up to my wheel and hooked my wheel up and been playing a lot of ATS. Been doing a lot of flying, been doing a lot of Fortnite, been doing a lot of that type of stuff, and plus editing the shows and getting stuff like all that stuff done. So that's what I've been playing pretty much. Nothing new really.
Yeah, same for me. I haven't been playing anything really new. I've been back into Rocket League, as you can see.
Oh yeah, our new sponsor of the week.
I've been playing some Rocket League. I've been getting back into Fortnite too. I enjoy doing the ranked matches and seeing how good I can get. That game is still just so baffling to me. It's such a, we're gonna throw everything against the wall
and hope it sticks.
And somehow it all sticks, and it's just this crazy mishmash, and it's just a lot of fun.
Well, the only reason why, get a little discussion here, the only reason why I don't like rank, it's where all the sweats are.
Yeah, but I like being able to see my progress, and I
So
like having kind of the like, hey, I am good, and here's my proof. You know what I mean?
See, the problem is I get it up to about silver, one level, silver or the very first level of silver, and get up to silver level.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I get up in there where I'm silver level. Then I get knocked down to bronze. Then I get back up to silver, and then get knocked down to bronze.
Oh,
That's what I don't like about it.
It just goes, yeah.
I mean, like, come on! I get up in here, and you guys knock me back down there. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one. A lot of my friends don't like that because of the fact that you work hard to get up there, and then you get knocked back down.
Well, yeah, it's like you can win 10 matches in a row and move up, 10%, but if you lose one match, you drop,
20%.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean...
And the other thing is I've been trying to get into the competitive mode of Fortnite, the tournaments and stuff, and you got to be ranked gold or higher for some of those. So I'm trying to get that up so I can get in and see what I can do in terms of making some movement on
On the
tournament.
Tournament.
Trying to make some money off of this.
you make money.
It's not gonna, ain't gonna happen. But be fun though.
Be fun, yeah. You ain't gonna make fun making money. No.
Yeah, I've been playing Fortnite. Did play a little bit of No Man's Sky. Got back into that. You ever played that one?
No,
It's on Game Pass. I think it's on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass. It's on PS4, PS5, Switch. No Man's Sky is a lot of fun. It's procedurally generated planets. You got your own ship. You can basically, it's a open world space pirate.
Kind of like EVA or whatever.
Yeah. Eve Online. It's got that the same persistent online bunch of people. That game's a lot of fun. Fortnite, Rocket League, No Man's Sky, and been getting back into some Smash Brothers. That's always a good time.
Yeah. It is always a good time.
Yep.
So, all right, I'm working on, all right, let's move on to our next section and
Some news.
the news.
Okay.
I just need a
Yeah.
quick second here.
Yep. One quick note I saw, there's a Fortnite and a Futurama collaboration coming out this week. So that looks interesting if you're a fan of Futurama. Take a peek at Fortnite.
Also, well, I don't have it up yet, but I'll discuss. We are actually in our news section. We're going to bring in our little special guest host, who is actually the one controlling our board, and he would like to just help.
Hunter's got some news for us.
Hunter's got some news for us too. While I gotta get this. So.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hey,
come on
Hunter,
in.
how's it going, man?
Hey Hunter, how's it going? And
Hey.
for those that don't know, this is the guy that we've been stuck behind the board for the last 5 minutes. This is the one we suckered into the board. So
Oh,
you were
kinda
talking
invisible
about
here.
Camp Kong.
There you go.
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah. So Exoprimal just came out. The first new IP I think Capcom has had in like a decade.
Pretty much.
And it's interesting because I guess it's not doing very well. And that's unusual in Capcom's game space because they don't really make live games. They make games that come out, you buy it, you play it, and it stays there. Live service games are very different because they're a game that asks for your continued time.
Yep.
They're not so concerned that you play 40 hours in 1 week, they're concerned that you play 100 hours in a year.
Exactly.
And so what's really, really interesting here is that, first of all, Exoprimal is not Capcom's first.
Yep.
They did, I think, Resident Evil Reverse.
Yep.
And that did not go well.
That did not do well
No.
either.
Yeah. The difference is Exoprimal has a genuinely good game buried underneath it.
Yeah.
So the question kind of becomes, when does a game fail? What is it that makes a game not a success? Because most live service games peter out, they die out, they require a large fan base or a player base to sustain themselves.
Yep.
You have World of Warcraft, you have a lot of these other MMOs.
Elder
You also
Scrolls
have-
Online.
Yeah, but
So-
you
Yeah.
also have Overwatch, you have Call of Duty, you have all these shooters that require people to be there in a chair playing with each other.
Yep.
You know, Halo's not that fun if you don't match with anybody. So...
Oh, trust me, I know.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the same way with Rainbow Six Siege, or
Absolutely.
COD. If you don't match up with the same person, you're not going to be. You're not going to be loving that game.
Yeah, no, we've all had those nights when you load up Blood Gulch and you get the same 6 people for 8 hours straight and you have no idea
This
what
is
you're
what
doing.
this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
now? Yeah. Okay.
You're
Or-
not completely sure if
Valorant.
Bungie put a bot somewhere in there.
Yep.
It's- Yeah.
Yep. Fun stuff.
But so the thing with Exoprimal is that Exoprimal, if do you guys know anything about this game?
I know we talked about it a little bit. I know that it came out on Game Pass. It's a hero type shooter.
It's wild.
I
yeah.
didn't know, and it's something about dinosaurs falling from the sky.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. That one. Yeah,
Exactly.
we did discuss it. but
No.
Yeah.
So
I
the-
still haven't played it yet.
The very basic idea is you take the mechs from Anthem and then you put them against dinosaurs.
Okay.
which
Yeah.
Just sounds
yeah.
like a video concept that should have come out by now.
Yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
like a great idea.
Yep.
But what we see is that they like, I'm not going to say the game's perfect. There's
Yeah.
clearly rough edges. They Capcom knows what they're doing. It's incredibly
Exactly.
balanced. The animations are great, or at worst serviceable. The hit registration, the buttons feel great. It's the brain to screen pipeline is excellent. And that's what you
Yeah, I
want.
mean, you also got to remember, guys, this is the type of company that brought you Street Fighter.
Exactly.
Brought you
Resident Evil,
Resident Evil, brought you
Dino Crisis.
Dino Crisis, all these great games, and right now they're having a little learning experience, or
Well, yeah, because I mean, Capcom, like, and that's the thing Exoprimals has, because you're totally right. Capcom is pantheonic. They have,
I mean-
they are deific. They can make a game shine. They've
exactly,
taken-
they have the experience
Yeah.
to do this, but they just
When it comes to a live service game of persistent,
Yeah.
And it's not just that. Like, you take Monster Hunter, you take Street Fighter. These are games that have been around for 20 years. They've been able to look at
Exactly.
the formula, keep hitting it with that hammer, put it back in the fire, pull it out, and really make it, get iron into steel.
Yep.
They have everything that they've ever needed to really, like, dial in on what makes these games great.
Exactly.
And Exoprimal is a totally new animal.
Yeah.
They're really grabbing something unknown by the horns. And this is the first time in a long while we've seen Capcom do that.
and they're slipping a little bit because, like you said, they don't know what they're doing.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Capcom's clearly got it. Like, this
Yeah,
game,
Capcom's got
when
it,
the
but
stars
it's just-
align, it plays beautifully. It is impossible. It is scientifically impossible not to have fun when there's 1,000 dinosaurs on the screen just charging at you, and you throw up a shield, and it's literally like World War Z, the literal
Yeah.
tidal wave
Yeah.
of enemies, and you're just holding it with both hands. It's
That's awesome.
It's impossible not to enjoy that. The interesting thing is that it basically, the entire failure boils down to like one major decision, which is that they have this game of like, all right, Capcom wants to do something fresh. They want to do something new. They're not going to go into the live service market just for the hell of it. They're going to really make something worth playing. And so they said, what if Call of Duty evolved with you? What if what if the matches got more interesting as you went on? So, you start out with very basic dinosaurs, but they get more dangerous. You get new ones, you get new enemies, you get new game modes, new weapons. As you level up, so do the enemies. That's a cool idea, but the game really seems to have been match made around the idea that you're going to be matching people the same level. There's 10 people in a lobby, let's say 9 of us are level 50, and a level 2 joins in.
Yeah.
We're fighting level 2 enemies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And with
and that's the
yeah.
problem with me with Rainbow Six. And that's why a lot of my friends won't play me with Rainbow Six because I'm at level 2, and they don't want to go down to level 2 to meet my level.
Yeah.
Right, so when you build your entire game around that, when you build your entire game around this idea that like everyone is on the same playing field, or we're not going to spoil this guy because but you have to match into his pool, so you go from I'm built, I'm ready to fight the most dangerous dinosaurs you've ever seen, dinosaurs that explode, literal raid bosses that come out of nowhere, maps where you have like tense sniper duels as you're guiding a payload down parallel paths. Great, incredible game design, really fresh takes on these, Overwatches, all the way back to, your Team Fortress 2s, like all of these things that they've clearly looked at and evolved on.
Yeah. And
And,
Valorant's
yeah.
another one.
Exactly, but because I don't know if it wasn't that they didn't have the marketing push. I don't know if they missed the buy. I don't know if people just weren't interested in mechs versus dinosaurs. That doesn't make sense to me.
No,
But for
I
whatever
would
reason,
love to hop in to play along.
yeah,
with us.
exactly. But for whatever reason, people aren't playing this game. The Steam had it reported that about 4.5 thousand total played it in the last week, and it didn't come out like more than a month ago.
Yeah, it came out beginning of July.
Exactly.
Do you think the game being on Xbox Game Pass day one is hurting it?
I don't know. People aren't happy with Microsoft, but that shouldn't hurt a company like Capcom.
Here's my
It shouldn't.
my thinking
Exactly.
on a game like Exoprimal, which is like a live service game, is that a game like that I don't think is going to be good, and it's not going to hit its stride for another 3 to 6 months, because these games always have that launch and whoa, everything, the game is running fine, but we have unanticipated quirks that we need to work out. This
And
that.
that's the
and
reason-
in those live service games like Fortnite, it gets refined and gets fine tuned, and we're
Yeah,
gonna
didn't that like
adjust.
release as like a zombie shooter or something?
Fortnite? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it started off as a spin-off of a single player game. That's
Yeah.
where the battle royale mode came from, and it was a rip-off of PUBG, which came before. That's a whole other show.
No,
we
but
can
the
get
but
into
the ethos
history of
still
battle
goes
royale.
that like you release
Yeah.
the game, then you refine it, then you find your players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the problem with releasing it, and that's not how a game like Resident Evil would work. Resident Evil
No.
comes out, the game's perfect.
Yeah.
You judge the game based on that right there.
And
You
that's
can't
what a lot of
judge
people are doing.
You can't judge the problem is I don't want to judge Exoprimal right now. I'm sure
No.
it's a fun game, and I bet it's going to be 10 times better in 6 months. The problem with putting it on Game Pass is you now have every casual person who just jumped into that game just for a few minutes. They saw a game that kind of looked like fun, probably felt partially unfinished. And they're never going to go back to it.
Well, here's the
right now, at
crazy
least.
thing. This is the mind-blowing thing, and this is, I guess, the big question. Is in game design, what you're talking about is what we call the full meal.
Yeah.
The full meal is your Skyrim. Full meal is Fallout. It's your Final Fantasies. Full meal is a game you pick up, you play it, and you're done.
Yep.
You hit a point.
It's
where
like
the
it's like a
game
book or a
tells you-
story. Yeah.
The game tells you you're finished.
Yeah, the
Go
narrative's
home.
over. Yep.
Yeah, Zelda, all of these things. The full meal game is designed to deliver the entire experience and completely fulfill you. You get all the catharsis you could ever want.
Yeah.
And then you put it down and you say, that was a good game.
That was a great game. Mario is
yeah.
another one.
And then you have the give me more games, which are designed to
Yeah.
leave you wanting. They're designed to make it feel
Yeah.
like you're not done. They
Games like
have
Gear
things-
5,
exactly.
games like Medium.
No, if you've ever finished a round of Fortnite and then got reward screen and seen a bar go up but not fill all the way, that's the design.
Yeah.
The game is telling you, you're not done yet.
Yep.
Come back.
Yeah. Keep
Play
going.
more. And the crazy thing about Exoprimal is that it looks like it actually might be done. Like, it
Yeah.
looks like they have all the mechanics they could want. They have raid battles and different game modes and all of this, so they don't have anything to give. They don't have anything left to give you.
Yeah.
So and I don't know. I don't know what it is because it seems like they really did bring their knowledge. I mean, of course they did. Anytime you get people working on a game, the prejudices and lessons those people learned on whatever they worked on before is going to carry into the project.
Yep.
So these are people where everything they've ever made is a full meal, trying to make something different.
Trying to make exactly. It's and it's one thing to, hey, we got this game. Keep an eye out for all this other stuff that's coming down the line. To some people, that feels like, well, why didn't you just put all it in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
why-
you get a game like Exoprimal. Hey, we put everything in the first place.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're like, well, what do we get to look forward to?
Yeah,
now?
here's a battle pass, and we'll give you more raid battles. And it's like, yeah, but I did all those.
Exactly.
I could do another one, but I already beat the
Yeah.
coolest thing.
And
So
that's the
it's-
problem
yeah.
with a lot of people once they get into a battle royale. It's just what you call rinse and repeat. What I call
Yeah.
A rehash. Yep.
the washing machine effect is just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And after a while, people don't want to rinse and repeat anymore. They want another DLC or they want an update. They
Yep.
want an upgrade. So
I
that's the reason why
yeah.
Fortnite keeps going is because for every 3 months you update the map. You update the guns. You update this.
That's the thing I will say that I enjoy about Fortnite as well, is that it's not just that they're putting in more cosmetic stuff. They have no qualms fundamentally changing gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, no,
And if they like it, if they don't get complete blowback from the players, all right, it sticks.
Yeah, no better feeling than a developer really willing to go in there and grab it by the bones and start moving things
and
around.
Nothing is sacred in terms of
Yeah.
gameplay mechanics, and I
it's
appreciate
just Epic
that.
Games has always been that way. No matter what, Epic Games has
No,
always
Epic
been.
Games, Valve's another one like that.
Yeah.
Like, the I don't know if you know this. One of the funniest stories in game design is that Valve as a company they don't have to make games. They own Steam.
Yeah.
They don't need money.
Yeah.
They already have your money. They don't need more of it.
Yeah.
So Steam, Gabe Newell has been on record as saying, you want to know when we make a game, it's when a new technology comes out.
Yeah.
They only made Half-Life Alyx because the VR came out, and they were
Yeah.
like, well, what can we do with that?
Yep.
And it's valuable for their studio to go and do that because Steam is going to need to work with VR. So they need their engineers
Yep.
to
To
know
know
how
what's
to
going
process
on.
this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So by saying, hey, here's a dump truck full of money, go mess around with stuff until you get a game, you get them putting on headsets and going, well, the first thing we know is that we want to pick up everything. Let's try and figure out water. Let's make these creative textures. And that's how you get all of the Valve games. Portal, Half-Life, all of these things only happen because they said, hey, what can we do with this technology?
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
By the way, if you ain't figured it out yet, he's a gaming engineer. He
Game
ain't figured it
designer,
out.
not an engineer. It's way
Game
too
designer.
difficult for me.
Game designer. If you ain't figured it out, this is the reason why we kind of want to keep him. He's the game designer.
Well, I'm having fun. I'd be more than happy to come back.
Yeah.
So we got him sucked in. He's here for a while.
He's here for a while. And well, I finally got my stuff up, so.
Yeah.
All right.
The ATS, yes. For those ATS fans that have been waiting for another state, we've been teased back in May. It's finally here. We are finally getting further east. We're going to be releasing Oklahoma, so we're going to be watching those wind rolling down the plains as we drive through Oklahoma. And they got I'll show you the release trailers and I'll show you all of that. But it looks pretty good at what I've seen. And if it's anything like any other state from ATS, we're in for a good one.
Nice.
All right.
We're in for a good
When
one
is that
there.
coming out?
August 1st.
Nice.
So
That's
yeah,
pretty soon.
pretty soon. So next week,
awesome.
guys, we're playing ATS on the game.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys what the strike my drive. I'll hook up my driving wheel and we'll play a little ATS and I'll show you what ATS looks like. It's fun. If you haven't seen it, and if you're a really good trucking simulator, yeah, I would highly recommend it.
Yep.
And another one that he was talking about is Ant Steam. I've never heard.
Ant Stream Arcade.
Yeah, Ant Stream Arcade.
Such a weird name.
It is. I've never heard of this thing. And
I just saw this the other day. So.
I saw this come
Yeah.
through the other day too.
Yeah.
And supposedly you're going to be getting a bunch of PS1 games, which is kind of like, what? Since when did they cross the streams here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always been Xbox and Xbox only, PlayStation and PlayStation only. It's always been Nintendo and Nintendo only
Nintendo
games.
doing its own thing in the corner.
Yeah.
Nintendo's over there
Making
in
you
the corner.
buy the same game 6 times and you love it. It's weird.
Fine.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and-
we're not done with Nintendo yet because I found another game, another thing we need to talk.
Well, that's the thing is that it's Sony and Microsoft are now so cross-pollinated when it comes to games. The fact that they have knocked down the walls that were always up with cross-play, not allowing somebody on Xbox to play somebody on PlayStation. Those days are gone. Everything is kind of doesn't matter what system you're really playing on because PC or Xbox or PlayStation, you can play with everybody.
Yeah, now
unless
they-
you're Nintendo, and then it's no. We're not playing with anybody else, and nobody's touching our
Nintendo-
We are our own thing. We want nothing to do with those guys.
Nintendo's like the Apple of the PC world.
If you
Pretty
ever
much.
want a Nintendo decision to make sense in your head, just remember that they work at a money factory.
Yeah,
and they
they
can
don't.
do whatever they want.
They don't need. Yeah,
It will be fine.
Yep.
Pokemon made all of the money.
they're fine.
Hey,
They're
they're
okay.
fine.
They
Yeah.
can do whatever we want, and we will love it.
Yep, and that's
Yeah.
and that's fine.
there's something about Pokemon. I saw the other day too about Pokemon, on this thing about Pokemon and Zelda trying to combine the two together.
That'll be that. I have a hard time wrapping my head around that one. I'll be perfectly
Right.
honest, but it'll be fun to see.
All right, so Ant Stream Arcade. I'll fill everybody in on this one. So I saw this on the Xbox store. It's all hundreds of retro games at your fingertips.
Now, I got a
PlayStation
question
1
for you:
games.
is it strictly for you?
For
or is-
Xbox?
Yeah, for you, or is it for?
It's on
people like
PC.
me?
It's on PC as well. And the way it works.
Oh, so it means people like me can use it.
Yes, absolutely. But it's the way the pricing works is that it's $30 for a 1-year subscription.
Not bad.
Or $70 for a lifetime subscription.
Still not bad.
Antstream Arcade is a service that licenses old games, arcade games, Commodore,
Titles of
Atari, PlayStation 1, Super Nintendo, not Nintendo proper games, but third party.
Yeah,
Nintendo
the
games.
stuff that kind of bled
So
through.
they update. It's over 100 games at any given time, but they switch up the games that are in there. So you're
1,000.
basically paying for this. 1,000 games. Yeah.
I'm reading the article as he's talking.
yeah.
I'm reading the article. It says plus over 1,000 classic titles from 80s and 90s. So.
Yep.
And 87% of classic games were made before 20. Oh,
That was the news story I had. Yeah.
yeah. And he said it was before 2010, and I was just telling you that are commercially unavailable. And I think they finally found a way to.
This is a great way to bring back a lot of those games.
Yeah.
These games, who knows if these are even counted in that number of games that are commercially available. But having something like this, I'm gonna drop the money for it because I really like having access to the older games. I saw that there's I think it's the first Mortal Kombat game is on there.
Ooh.
That'll be fun.
Which is a game that the original Mortal Kombat has not been re-released on any newer system in any capacity since I think, God, I don't even know when. PlayStation 3,
Now I got a question
maybe,
for you.
Xbox
Is it
360?
Xbox controller or do you have to use a keyboard?
No, Xbox controller. You can use it. I don't know on PC. I'm sure you can use a keyboard and mouse for a lot of those games. I don't think you're going to be forced to use a controller.
Well, I actually wonder about this, and this is kind of my big question about this entire thing.
Yeah.
Is a lot of these old ports, and I just going back to like the game engineering stuff, when you look at how they made some of these old games, especially for Xbox, you think about Oblivion.
Yeah.
There was a point in Oblivion where the Xbox did not have the memory to run the game. It was too big.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Like last weekend, I was looking at a PlayStation 2 memory card.
Yeah.
And it's this big. It's like a debit card.
Yeah.
It's 8 megabytes.
Yeah.
So they did not have a lot of room on these things. And what they would do to make the game work is that they talked to Microsoft and they're like, hey, can we add a new feature to the Xbox where they could not have the RAM to run the game.
Yep.
So they would lock the screen at a single frame on a loading screen, turn the console off,
Oh my God.
and then restart it to get the RAM they needed to
my
load the
God.
new area. So if these ports are moving in like this, are they like full ports? Have they gone back and rebuilt these games?
I don't think they've got. When you get into the original Xbox, which is on the same generation as the PlayStation 2, those generations and up, emulation is very, very hard to do. It's not
You're
so
talking
much.
to somebody who just hacked his Xbox over here.
Yeah. PlayStation,
then I'm really
PlayStation
curious
1
then,
games
'cause I have
are
no idea how
really,
this would
really
look.
small file sizes. I would say a lot of these games are just older Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis arcade games, which are super tiny, very simple, very easy to. It's all streaming. And the other thing with this is that the games are streaming. It's not like you download any of these games to play. It's like you purchase the Antstream Arcade, you boot up the Antstream Arcade, and then you go into the menu and pick a game, and it's like cloud.
It's like cloud emulator.
Well, that actually might make the most sense, actually, because the biggest problem with cloud gaming is that if your internet's bad for any reason, it can't get
it's
the
garbage,
information to you. But if these games are so small,
that it's just such a small
it can just
packet of
throw it at
information
you.
coming through.
And actually, another really cool thing about that, one of the biggest issues with porting games, you think about Silent Hill, you think about old Zelda, any game from that era you put on screen and it doesn't look as good, that's because the people knew the technology they were working with. They had screens. Pixels were fuzzy. They bleed into each other. And the designers knew that. They drew their art assets knowing that colors would fade into each other. So it had a certain look to it. Then you go back and you play it on the Switch or something, the remaster, and you're like, I can see every polygon.
That's
on
jagged.
person.
That is jagged.
So
Or
I
you walk
wonder-
in there and you go, this used to look good on a
Yeah, exactly.
It's I used to like this graphics.
Yeah, this
No, you
and then
look
when
at
you
these
go-
games and you're like, that used to look great. What
Well,
happened? And they did.
yeah,
They
And
were
then when you put it on these new games, they're going, they haven't changed.
No.
I mean, look,
So
we've done it
wondering-
with Super
yeah.
Nintendo, without a Super
Yeah.
Nintendo. We've done it with a regular Nintendo on these games here,
Yeah.
on these monitors, and we're going, really? This used to be the best graphics?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it,
You're very right. Yeah,
so-
they used to build it. They used to make the
Exactly.
games for the technology of the times.
And
They couldn't future-proof it and be like, "This is going to look great in 20 years." Trust me.
No,
Yeah,
they worked with, they played the hand they were dealt. And so I'm wondering
Exactly.
if the concessions we have to make around cloud gaming could actually be the solution to reviving these games in a way that feels good.
Let's
Yeah.
hope, because like I was talking to Alan when he brought that subject up, I would love to see these old games come back.
Yeah.
You know, and some of these old games are a lot better than what you're playing nowadays.
Yeah.
No, there are games out there that are just gone, that are just well and truly, you know.
E.T.
Yep.
Well, yeah, like, and not even games that just like the creators had to pull the plug on a server or something like that. You get that every once in a while. It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking every
Yep.
time. But there are also just games out there that like they only had one printing, and
Yeah.
the CDs are all gone.
We
Yeah,
just
yeah,
talked about
yeah.
that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
About this about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I'm curious because you got to imagine that someone somewhere like kept. They have to have like their own personal library. They had to have
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So like anything, my personal standpoint on this, any medium, I don't care what the business tactics are. I don't care what concessions companies have to make with each other. Anything that keeps a game from vanishing is good in my book.
Yeah.
Anything.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take that too. But yeah, I mean, it'd just be great if I would if that it for first of the month. I got a couple streaming services I got to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I'll let you guys know in a week or two after I get it. And
Please do. I'd
give
be
a review.
really
The
curious.
things I've seen online is that like the knocks on it are like they have like challenges. So you get a game like Ghouls and Ghosts and it'll be like, oh, beat the last level or whatever. The person that I watched the review video on thought they were kind of janky. The emulation wasn't the best. They think that maybe the emulators that they're using aren't really top notch.
Sort of a one size fits all, and that always fits nobody.
Exactly.
Sort of deal.
Yeah.
And
So
it always does. It
So
always
we'll see.
happens.
In terms of just retro game preservation, I'm purely interested.
Me
So-
too.
Absolutely.
I mean, and especially with you being in background in gaming design, you would love to see the old ones come back.
I'd be really curious because my biggest fear, the one that always comes to mind, is the Oblivion one, because like that's the perfect example of you try to emulate that. What happens?
You got to change
Does
something.
it?
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you take a $500 PS5, like this machine that can run a marathon blindfolded,
Yeah.
and you give it, and the game says, "All right, turn yourself off now," that doesn't go well. So it's like trying to.
Yeah.
Usually, the reason we don't see ports for these old games is that you can't.
Yeah.
You can't just plug in.
No, there's going to
Yeah.
be a lot of coding redone to fix these problems.
Yeah.
Now that the consoles can run
Yeah.
at a higher speed or run at a higher RAM. That's what, and while they're at it, fix the graphics where you're at it too.
Yeah.
Bring them. I mean, not completely fix them, but bring it up to a little bit better state. You know, not from like go from 8 to maybe 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, or from 16 up to 32.
Or
Or 32 up to 64.
I bet that do some really funny things because you hear stories every now and again that like certain games, Smash is a great one. Smash is a game that is programmed based on the number of frames in an attack. If you ever look at competitive, I'm not good at it, but I try competitive Smash. And you see whenever you like look at a breakdown, they're listing times and frame rates, not
Yeah.
this is how much of a second. They say, your Nair is 6 seconds. They say a Nair is 6 frames, not like it's 0.1 seconds.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of really weird things when you emulate certain games and you take a game that was running at 24 and you run it at 60, and then certain enemies like had a speed based on the frame rate, and all of a sudden
It's
they're
like
going
the
back
old,
and forth over the
if,
screen.
for those that he's talking about, it's like the old days when you have a laptop and you used to upgrade the laptop with better RAM.
Yeah, and then all of
And
a
all of a
sudden,
sudden your loading times are like 0.5 seconds, and you load a game, and what used to take you 2 seconds to go flying, you're
Yeah, you just disappear. I remember Minecraft did some stuff with that, where like redstone
I used to
was based
do.
on.
I did that one day. I was
Yeah.
playing Star Wars Rogue Squadron,
Yep.
and it was on a
Great
RAM, little RAM, and I updated my RAM. And that game was, I got so fast where I couldn't even control the damn X-Fighter, the X-Wing, because the X-Wing would be going like this. So fast, you hit A button, you're way over here 1 minute, and then you here.
All those games where people emulated onto PC, but they didn't limit the turning speed, and so you just swing your mouse, and all of a sudden your screen just breaks because your character just did like 8,000 RPM.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I don't want to do that again.
all these really funny ways that the people like, because you design a game for the GameCube and you try and envision a world where we have the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the
You just
problem.
tell
They're going to
people
have
what's
to, when
gonna
they do
happen.
these,
Yeah.
they're going to have to slow them down a little.
Yeah, it's gonna
Because-
be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. I like to
I'm
see what you say about
very
it.
Yeah.
curious
Yeah.
to see. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I'll be back with a review in a week or
Yeah,
two. How's
yeah,
that
I
sound?
would
Yeah.
love to do that. All right, you were mentioning this the other day about, we were talking the other day about how they're trying to release a Mandalorian game.
The Mandalorian. Yeah.
Oh.
They're releasing a Mandalorian game
Well, like an old developer made a fan trailer for what would be like a Mandalorian video game, and people are going nuts because it looks great.
Yeah.
It would be fun, but we're getting
The kind
game
of
you're
barn
gonna talk
burner
about
where
in the
the
meantime.
game studio goes, "Oh, we got to make one of those."
Yeah,
Pretty
it
much.
is.
Yeah.
But Ubisoft is already working on a new Star Wars game due out next year.
Yeah, and this is the one I'm talking about. It's called Star Wars Outlaws, and the concept, if you want to take a look, see, that's the concept art of it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
It's very sort of like neon soaked.
They're
which I
they're
don't
calling
really
it the
associate with
first
Star Wars.
open world Star Wars game.
Yeah.
It says it's, I'd show the premiere.
Yep.
It shows the premiere later. I'll put it in editing.
Yep.
But it says here, Ubisoft recent Assassin's Creed games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Odyssey, there's a lot to see and do.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like to me, if this is true, guys, it's going to be like an Odyssey, like an Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed-ish type of game built in a Star Wars.
I'll take it. From the footage
Background.
I've seen, I've watched people playing a game, and mind you, open world, bounty hunting, smuggling on a planet, fighting, shooting, running from the gunfight to their ship taking off, going out into space, having a space battle in their ship. All basically no loading screens and just planet to planet.
That's kind of fun. Yeah.
It looks it looks like a lot of fun.
That's one thing like GTA, or not GTA, because I'm going to be talking about GTA here.
Yeah.
Second, Star Wars Jedi. They always had those cutscenes, or anything Star Wars there lately. They always have the cutscenes
In between.
in between your loading screen.
Yeah.
I'm just
And this
playing
is like-
the trailer behind it, or trailer while we're talking here.
Yeah.
So
No, we've hit some unbelievable like disk speeds. You can
Yeah.
make games that can load things like that.
It's incredible.
PS5's
Nuts.
notorious for that.
No, the PS5 is a ridiculous machine. It's
Yeah.
it's terrifying looking at what they put in that thing.
Yeah, and you all talking about, we were just talking about PC. Because
Yeah.
I'm on the PC side. That's me.
Yeah.
PC's all me. And PCs nowadays, you can build one just like a PS5.
No, PCs are always I got a friend that calls it the X factor because every single thing in it is an X. Every single thing is how much RAM does it have? How much do you want it to have?
Exactly.
Everything is a variable. There's
Exactly,
no
yeah.
set. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that one right there behind you is the one I built, and it has a 16 DDR4 in it. No, 16 DDR4 with the GTX 1650 in it. And, like 227,000 or 2700 AMD with not 3600 AMD, excuse me, with graphics built in. Only because the first one I put in was a 2700 and it blew up when the motherboard blew up when the power supply surged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surge protectors are always.
All I was
yeah.
doing was plugging in a microphone.
Sometimes that's all it takes. It's just
I
one
was
tiny little bit
Plugging
of
in
energy.
the microphone and
No, electronics are. They're objectively hilarious.
Yep.
They no one knows how they work. Percussive maintenance is always a fun one.
I gotta
Like,
find a can
oh,
of
it doesn't
air.
work.
You might know
Punch
any-
it.
Yep.
You know where I can get a can of air? I've lost my can of air. I need a can of air.
Yep.
So, anyways, we're sitting and watching the trailer. So, also, one thing I found out, and this is kind of cute. The thing is GTA 5. They're going to might be putting it on the Switch.
Really?
Really?
That would be incredible.
Man, that hamster's working overtime.
I would say, yeah.
You open up a switch and you got a hamster named Fred just
Yeah.
spinning.
Well,
It's a nice guy, though.
this
Yeah,
one
he's a good guy. He's a hard
GTA
worker.
5 runs well as you don't expect on Nintendo Switch.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is like the Nintendo Switch does
we're
have all
wrapping
the
it up.
processing power of a determined waterboard, but but you can do some incredible stuff with it. Tears of the Kingdom, like it was crazy how fast the story went from is Tears of the Kingdom gonna run on the Switch to how does Tears of the Kingdom
Yeah,
run on the
yeah,
Switch? Like,
yep.
Yeah, you can really make games hum on that thing.
It's
It's
ab-
just you gotta
I
know
will
what to do.
like I tend to do.
get it up, so.
We'll do some Fortnite. You know, Luke and I. He'll play on the Xbox and I'll be on the Switch. And man, it is just a potato of a system when it comes to what I consider traditional games, like current gen games and stuff. It's like playing Fortnite on a computer, but on the like ultra low res settings.
Yeah,
You know, nothing else loads in besides your character and some really polygonal trees. I'm like, you know what? That's okay. It's okay. sometimes.
My friend Cody, that's all he plays is on his Switch.
Yeah.
He has a monitor about as big as that one right there.
But at the
And
same
he
time,
hooks it up to the Switch,
Yeah.
and he
if
just sits and plays it.
if the Switch is all you have, I think it looks great. I
Well,
think
I
it
mean,
looks
yeah.
it's even low res graphics on the Switch still looks amazing. But comparing it to an Xbox, a current gen Xbox, it's a little unfair.
Well,
Of
right.
course, we're always picking on him. How's your little Switch doing over there?
Yeah, I mean, like, because you got the Switch is the story of soft factors, right? It's
Yeah.
the same. Like, you can point at, the new Xbox, the new PlayStation, a PC, and you can list hard factors all day long. It
Yeah.
runs at this many frames. It is, vector ray tracing.
Our teraflops are through the roof.
Yeah. You can scream every Star Trek buzzword you've
Yeah.
ever heard at somebody, and you'll be right.
Yeah.
But Nintendo didn't want to build the greatest, most powerful machine ever. They didn't want to build
No.
something that could punch PlayStation into submission. They wanted to make a system that would work anywhere, in any weather,
Yep.
that you could hold in your hand, plug into something, and have it work seamlessly with motion controls. Like, if you look at what they packed in and what they are able to get up and running on that
It's
thing,
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't
absolutely
want to make a
ridiculous.
powerful machine.
That's
They
what I'm
wanted to
saying.
make something dexterous.
And when you
agile.
realize everything with the Nintendo Switch is the screen.
Yeah.
That's the console.
Yeah.
Everything behind the screen.
Yeah.
Take off the controllers. That's it. Whereas Xbox Series S or PlayStation 5,
Yeah.
a Switch is like
Yeah,
okay,
you have your
so
pick
have
of
something
mini
this
fridge
big,
or
this big that is 90% comparable to a Series S.
Yeah.
Imagine if Nintendo made a console 3 times the
Oh,
size
well,
of
so
that.
we're actually hearing some noises out of Nintendo that the
Well,
next
it's-
handheld they want is supposed to be as powerful as one of the more modern consoles.
Yeah.
So they're starting to say like, hey, this is what
We're
we
getting
want.
there. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
we're getting there.
that wasn't what they designed for. They didn't
No.
need to be strong. They just
'Cause
needed to be good.
This is the
capable.
type of topic that I've been talking about since 2012 when Nintendo Wii, which is out there,
Yeah.
came out that I had with Dustin and all my other co-hosts. It always has been Microsoft, Sony, and then way over here
at the,
is Nintendo.
over at the moon, Nintendo's doing something you've
See,
never
but
heard
this
of.
is where it throws me off because when you and I were younger and growing up, it was Nintendo and Sega. And that was it. It was Nintendo versus Sega. And then Sony bumps in, oh, we got another system here. And then Microsoft, hey, we're going to make one too. All of a sudden, Sega's out of business and Nintendo's making,
Which kicks Sony, Sony and Microsoft kicks Nintendo's butt out of the first
Well,
and
no.
second place.
If you
takes
ever
off.
have a spare, like if you ever want to go down a rabbit hole and truly be rewarded, I implore you, look at the story of the fall of the Sega console market. Look at because it's wild. You have this company that's making first party games, trying anything, and they get out, Yakuza, which is wild. What happened with Sonic at the end and what they were trying.
This was a company that, at the height of Nintendo's popularity, this company was the only company that could keep up with or surpass Nintendo.
No, and in its
And then they die off, and then now they're...
in its dying moments, the most crazy things happen. You get stories of game developers marching in, looking their company in the eye, and saying like, "Hey, listen, I want to make this game, and if I fail, I will quit, and you'll never hear from me again. Like, I'm fine taking the full responsibility. Let me give this a shot." And you get the most wild stories of like truly passionate people in an industry that is dying, and they don't know why, and they can't connect the dots, and they are trying everything.
But I will say, looking back at it now, it's pretty clear what happened with Sega. The hindsight is able to look back and go like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't release a system less powerful than the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Or it's more expensive than the PlayStation 1.
Or just rely on one character.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I think why they died is because Sega relied it on Sonic. And Sonic only.
Yeah, but Nintendo just relies on Mario.
Well, they
Yeah, well,
relied. Mario
But
happened,
they
and they're like,
also had
oh.
Mario, they had Legend of Zelda, they had...
Yeah, I agree.
They had other characters games to rely on.
Donkey Kong.
But what killed Sega was when they released the Wii.
That was the Nintendo that did the Wii.
No, like I said, what finally killed Sega is when Nintendo released the Wii.
Yeah.
And Sega went, we can't compete.
Yeah.
There's no way we can compete with that. Sorry, we're done.
Yep.
I know.
We're just gonna make games from now on, which is fine. But
I mean,
makes me sad.
here's the thing. Like, yeah, I agree with you. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. But Final Fantasy came out of Sega dying.
Yeah.
It was the Final Fantasy is named Final Fantasy because it was that studio's last game. The lights were turning off.
Yeah.
They were like, and they were making a game that the numbers said it should sell, and everyone at the studio was miserable.
Yeah.
So they didn't.
And it did. It does. And if they
Well,
made
no,
16
were
of the
making
damn
like
things.
a racing game or something. It wasn't originally Final Fantasy. They were making like a racing game. Like it was supposed to be like similar to Sonic, but like three-dimensional. And the developers hated it. They were sad. People didn't want to come to work anymore. So they met up and they were like, "Why don't you want to do this?"
RPG.
Like, I don't love this game. So they said, "Okay, make the game you love. Make the game you want to make." So they threw all of their money and all of their talent and everything at the Final Fantasy, the last game they'd ever make, and people loved it.
Yeah.
But that happened because Sega was dying.
Yep.
It happened like all of these incredible game series we have in studios. You have Platinum, you have all of these places. Square Enix is a great example where it was because of what happened to Sega. And that talent didn't go away. Like, it didn't fade from the market. These people are still around and kicking. They're just doing other things now. And it's great what they're doing, but we did lose a giant.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah,
to
we
watch.
just lost somebody that, 10 or 20 years ago was the number one
But you couldn't dream of them disappearing.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be like saying,
It's like nowadays saying Apple, oh, sorry. Oh,
Apple
goodbye.
going out of business and just dropping all their products and just becoming a software company.
Yeah. It would make no sense.
Yep.
But the old stories of from Greek mythology where like a titan dies and then islands are born.
Yep.
It's insane. I can't recommend it enough. If you ever really want to look at the origin of these things, Sega's where to start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would agree. There's,
Yeah.
I've watched a few documentaries. There are plenty on the streaming services about the console wars, rise and fall of Sega, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of fun to watch. Those are a blast.
Yeah, they
All right.
are a lot of brass. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I realize I'm looking at the clock and
Like
going.
we have 55 minutes. All right. Do we want to? Well, you can take another 25 or 30 minutes or so if you want. Talk about.
Yeah, we can. We'll do
console accessories and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay.
All right. Thanks for
we're-
having me here. I'll get back in the booth and I'll leave you guys to talk about
Yeah,
it. It
we're
looks like you
gonna
have some great
take a
stuff
break
here.
right here. Hey folks, welcome to the topic of the week. This week we decided to pick on our gaming accessories. We have brought in quite a few selections of our various gaming accessories that I've bought and he's gotten.
I'll put that. That's yours. These are mine.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Um,
So what do you got, Darren?
let's start off with I told you I would find one of these and you know I could get one.
Yeah.
This is the very first Super Nintendo. And also, when these came out, they weren't much different than the original Nintendo. Only difference was they added 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. That's all it is.
Yep.
But, you know, it's a Super Nintendo, and these end up being to what you look like today with your modern day Xbox and PlayStation. These are more like PlayStation controllers because the old PlayStation moved in to be looking
More like
these.
that. Yep. Absolutely.
So,
But as games evolved and changed,
from this,
game companies decided, hey, why don't we make something that's unique to gameplay for this type of game that we have? Like a driving game, let's make a steering wheel.
to
Or a
flying games, let's make a yoke. And these, by the way, are all made out of Logitech. This is PC side of it.
Yep.
And his is, like I said, his is mostly console.
Yep.
And you can tell our different styles and whatnot. And who can remember one of those things?
This is one of the original Nintendo Zappers from 1985. This was probably one of the first accessories you could buy for a video game system. If you don't know what this is or what this does, this was just a light gun for your computer, for your TV screen. This thing worked off of a flashing light and reflecting off of the glass of the TV screen. to
See, this
register
is where
the shots were going.
Darren will be cheating. He'll be up right there on the monitor.
You can do it? Yeah.
And remember that very first game I said, yeah, about the laughing dog? You
That's
spent
where
more
it came
time
from.
Shooting the damn laughing dog than you did with that one.
Yep.
So,
So I'll start real quick with just some console evolution. I don't have a whole lot. I'd love to talk more. Maybe I'll have some pictures going up showing off different accessories. Like back in the Super Nintendo days, they had the Super Scope 6.
Yeah.
Is the like a rocket launcher gun. They had something similar called the Menacer for the Sega Genesis, which is basically a knockoff of that. If you ever played the game Lethal Enforcers for the arcade, it came with the old revolvers. And if you bought the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo version,
Time Crisis.
it came with the guns. Yep, Time Crisis as well.
That was the Sony PlayStation game that my brother,
Yep.
the one that's in there playing, had.
Yep.
I stole it quite a few times.
Yep.
I used to play it. He actually had, it actually looked like an actual revolver from
Yep.
an actual 45.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yep.
And also, Nintendo, get back to the early NESs,
Yep.
they had the thing that I loved, which was the NES version of this.
Yep.
It was a big square box with a joystick and 2 big buttons.
Yep.
Reason why I liked it, you're looking at them.
Big hands.
Big hands.
Yep.
And
Yep.
these things, the buttons were about that big around versus that big around. Tiny little buttons.
It was much more like a traditional arcade joystick.
And it was more traditional arcade stick.
Yep.
And I like to do is turn the turbo on, crank that sucker up when you get fireballs, 3 fireballs at once.
Yep.
So
That thing was very nice. Yeah.
it was very nice.
I remember for the Sega Dreamcast, they had a game called Seaman that had come out, where basically you raise a sea monkey.
Yeah.
From a tiny little tadpole all the way up. It was this weird fish-looking thing that had its own head, and you could accessory you get was a microphone that would attach into the memory card slot, and you could talk
I remember
to the
that.
fish
I remember
in there,
those.
teach him different words and things. Pretty much from there on, when it came to accessories and peripherals for consoles, everything
This hasn't changed much, by the way.
everything has pretty much gone to USB. Which makes all of these things really universal between console and PC. So, for instance, I most likely could hook up this controller, this steering wheel controller, to my Xbox. The new Xbox. Maybe not.
This is a PlayStation. He's right, partially right.
Yep.
Logitech will make an Xbox version of this.
Yep.
Which is basically Xbox controller, Xbox buttons, and all this. This is the PlayStation version. This is the Logitech G26. No, G29.
Yep.
His is the G something, G90 something. I can't
Yeah.
remember what his is. The Xbox version.
Yep.
And the only difference is that button right here.
Yeah, they've
That's
got the
the
different
only
buttons for
difference.
home buttons and things like that, and some of them are branded like this. This Thrustmaster controller is for Xbox because it's got like the Xbox home button, and all the buttons are labeled as your traditional Xbox controller buttons. That being said, this will work on Xbox and this will work on PC.
Most
Just
modern-
like that will work on PC and on PlayStation.
Yeah, this one's PC, PlayStation. This one is Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
Yeah.
It's all of them, but mostly I use it for Xbox or PlayStation.
Yep.
And this is what I use for Flight Simulator. And hopefully next week or the following week after I get done showing you what ATS is, yeah. This is set up for trucking and trucking only, so.
Yep. Yeah, 3 pedals with a clutch. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I've tried iRacing with it, and it's fun, but I don't like iRacing.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I did edit a few races that we had the racing show, The Inside Groove.
Yeah.
When the pandemic hit, he started doing iRacing. So that was a lot of fun.
It's fun, but it hasn't changed in the last 5 years, 4 years.
Yep.
It's still the same old races.
Yep.
That's all you get, the same races. And after a while, you're like, really?
Yep.
Change the racetracks. And the problem is you got to sweat it out.
Yeah. Yep. And
Yeah, and you know me, I don't have patience to sweat out racing.
yep. Yeah. Well, I
Pretty
think
much.
that's everything we've got, Darren.
And then, of course, you got your Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah. From the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s.
The Wii U version.
This one is for the Wii, yep, where you stick the Wii remote into here. Other versions have a wireless dongle that'll hang off for the Xbox or PlayStation. Yeah, these things were mass-produced. They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, they are.
But they're still a blast.
Cheap. They're cheap, dime a dozen.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
All
So,
right,
yeah, that's pretty much it because we went over on
a little bit, yeah.
on our news section, so we kind of have to wrap
We'll wrap the accessories up a little early, but
a little early.
we'll be back next week, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, next week is ATS.
Yep.
We're gonna get to some actual gaming software or gaming shows.
We'll try and get Darren set up on top of the green screen with ATS and get him put right in the cockpit of the truck.
Oh, right in the yeah, right inside.
We could do that. Why don't we do that? Why don't we take everything we learned from the live streaming shows and the green screen shows and try and put it all together while you do ATS?
All right,
I like
we'll do
it.
That.
That's our show
We'll
next
do
week.
that.
That's how we figure things out around here.
Yeah, we'll put me inside while you see what I'm looking at behind me.
Absolutely. Yep.
So,
All right. When are you going live? When are you going on Kick? What's your schedule?
maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow night.
Okay.
It's usually Darren Quick 05478 on Kick, as always. And as always, thanks for watching. Oh yeah, by the way, the answer to the trivia question is false. Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, was a knockoff, basically, of not a knockoff, but a complete revamp of an old Mario Brother arcade game back in 1970 or 80.
It was, I think it was early 80s.
Early 80s. And by the way, that version of Mario, I have played it. I like Super Mario Bros. Better.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah.
All right, folks.
Next week, I'll get you another trivia question. As always, thanks for watching, and follow me on Kick. What about you?
You guys can check in here at NWA Esports. Got any questions, any clips you want to submit, get on the show, let us know. Email them at tech@northwestaccess.tv. Until then, we'll see you guys
And
next
also,
week.
don't forget to bring your studio pictures.
That's it.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Good night.
#802 Gaming Club.